Hello, everybody. Welcome to Talk About House. I'm Todd.
I'm Oana.
Okay, today we're going to do a update to the Las Vegas real estate market. This is our weekly update. We get the weekly data. It is for the Las Vegas, only the city. It is not for the MSA, the either market service area or the metropolitan statistical area. I got criticized because on the last video I referred to it as a market service area. I specifically said on the video that's what the REO banks called it for us when referring to area we worked, a market service area. A bunch of people jumped in and said, no, the Census Bureau calls it a metropolitan statistical area. One guy even said he was going to save the video because he thought I would delete it. We've made almost 1,000 videos. I've only ever deleted one video, and it was because the CEO of Zillow specifically contacted me asking me to delete the video because it was super critical of his estimate, and this was like a decade ago. And it was like 10 years ago, 11 years ago. It was like 2012, I think.
Okay.
It was a long time ago. Okay, here we go. MSA, market service area. What does MSA stand for? MSA stands for market service area. And here's abbreviation finder, MSA, market service area. As you can see, it also means metropolitan statistical area, but specifically for the REOs, that's what it means. And it's basically the exact same definition I gave. It just means the surrounding areas of a city. Okay, now that we've got through with that, you can all check out Oana's frilly shirt. It's super nice. I like it. It's very frilly. Okay, this data is super new. We just got it. We're going to start with the market action index 39. It was 39 last week.
It was.
So
is it Jack Benny?
It's Jack Benny.
It's Jack Benny.
It's
so
Jack
those
Benny.
of you who are old enough to remember Jack Benny, leave us a comment and tell us what this refers to.
Okay. No, you can't use Google.
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to jump over the real-time market profile and go through some of these things over here. As you see, median list price has still been every week kind of ticking up. This is the 90-day average of median list price. So it's smoother than that median list price for new listings, which it does go up a bit, but it jumps up and down quite a bit. And as you can see, the median list price in January was $483. It's now $515. It's $32,000 higher. What is that an indication of? Crashing market?
No, it's also an indication of what's actually happening on the ground. So for example, this weekend, a couple of our listings got multiple offers, and the multiple offers started at list price. So that means that was not the highest offer.
Right.
They got, in response, they got a request for highest and best, and off we go at the races. These were not homes that were priced in this price range. These were homes that were priced significantly higher.
Like 600?
Like 7 figures.
7 figures?
Yeah.
Okay, that's big numbers.
So this is not just happening in the low end, and this is not just entry level or mid level. This is happening throughout the market. I mean, obviously, it's not happening on every property, and I'm not suggesting that, but it is starting to happen more and more, partly because of inventory, as far as inventory being low, partly because buyers are coming back to market because it's springtime. These particular offers happen to have been cash offers, but of course, interest rates are doing their dance, and they're doing the limbo.
So the interest rate dance is interesting. We had clients come to us a few weeks ago and said, we want to buy a house. They're out working with an agent on our team who's showed them a bunch of houses. They got a quote of 6.1% about 3 weeks ago. That's the lender said, hey, that's the going rate for your financial situation. It's no problem. Numbers all work. It took about 3 weeks to look at a bunch of houses, go back to a couple twice or 3 times, and then finally make an offer, get it accepted. Okay? So they get the offer accepted. They send it in to the lender. The lender goes, okay, well, I have to lock your loan now. Lender goes and checks rates. Same everything. Guess what rate they get this time?
Probably closer to 5.5.
5.6. It's a 0.5% less. When we were at 6.5, we'd gone up. Remember, we went below 6. We went back to 6.5. A lot of people said, "Oh, Todd, the rates are going back to 8. They're going to 8% this time." And that's going to finally crash the market, right? And then now they're going back down. And they were talking about the Fed rates. And we're going to talk about that later. Actually, we're going to talk about in the next video.
Okay.
The Fed rates and the 10-year.
Okay.
And how what controls and how that works. Okay, this is anecdotal information, but I'm seeing more and more agents on Facebook complain about multiple offers that they're working with buyers. They're literally saying, 2 months ago we didn't have this problem. And it's likely to continue into April and May, and then it'll probably go back to normal. The other thing too on this, if you look at inventory, it is down. It was like 2980 something, and now it's like 2904. Didn't go down much. It still went down. Even though we have more sales every week, what this represents is more listings coming on than maybe came on in January. Like every week, more listings coming on.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think sellers are kind of thawing out a little bit.
They're thawing out?
Yeah, they are. I think that people are kind of getting on with it. I think that they're seeing that interest rates are coming down. I think maybe they're seeing a little bit more inventory with wherever market they're looking at purchasing. So I think there are a lot of things at play. And of course, just everybody's situation changes, and people have been holed up in the house for a long time, and it's just time to move.
This next chart, price per square foot, it looks exactly the same as last week. The 7-day average is 251. So the 7-day average is the leading indicator because it's just the last 7 days of sales. The 90-day average is the last 90 days of sales, so it goes back further. But it was at 249, and then it was at 250. And so it's basically taken 6 weeks. Every 2 weeks it's been going up one. So we expect this to go either stay 251 or go to 252. That 90-day average is going to stay 250 for a while before you start to see it tick up because it's still averaging in like January, early January, which were lower sales. So that was an interesting one there. Okay, this is a really, really interesting one, median days on the market. A lot of people listed their houses because they were trying to get a number. And they were listed in the MLS and they maybe were listed for 5 or 6 months and didn't sell. So the people took them off the market.
Right.
So that sort of made the median days on the market look like a massive amount. Okay. These are not people forced to sell or anything. They just said, if I can get X, I'll get it. If not, I'll take it off the market, right? That made a drastic reversal this week alone. The 90-day average, the difference between the 7-day average in literally the last couple weeks went from like well over 100 to 91. And you can see which way this is going. This is stuff flying off the market. Even though we're going to have more homes coming on the market, this number should keep going down because as you can see, this is very disciplined chart. When the little dashed line is on whatever side of the solid line it's on, it keeps going that way until some point it basically turns and goes the other way. And you can see those cycles are like 6 months usually. So we're probably going to have, and I checked all these other ones, they're all late June, early July, where it switches and goes back the other way. So what that means, what does that mean, Oana?
Well, it means that we're going to have more transactions this spring than we've had in the last few months. And it means that come summertime, we're going to slow down again.
Yeah. This next one is inventory. The same thing on this chart. Inventory is still declining. As you can see, every year in April, it bottoms out, April, May. It's going to start bottoming out probably in April or May, and the inventory will start coming back up. But as you can see, we're already below almost all of 2022 for the 7-day average, or 2020 for the 7-day average. And remember, 2020 was a hot year. 2019 was the last reasonable normal year where prices didn't change very much. The inventory it was all kind of a blasé. People were just transacting normally. It wasn't exciting, right? You did a bunch of listings that year, I think 2019. But you can see that we're still have excess inventory. So let's talk about this really quick. Interest rates are 2+% more than they were a year ago. But home prices are only down 0 to 5.5% in Vegas, right? According to the numbers, 0 to 5 per price per square foot, they're down. What's really driving the prices? Because we were told interest rates were gonna, interest rates go up, prices would be halved, and that didn't happen.
No, I mean, interest rates determine how much of a payment you can afford if you're financing, but that just means that you're going to be adjusting your sights regarding what size and what price range of property you're going to be purchasing. It doesn't impact necessarily people purchasing at all. So, we have low inventory, people still need to purchase. So maybe before you were going to purchase a $500,000 house, and maybe now you're going to purchase a $430,000 house. That's just the way it goes.
I think people thought that, well, because my payment would have been, $3,500 a month for your $500,000 house. You now have to give it to me for $430,000 because that's what my payment will be.
No, it just means that you're adjusting your sights regarding the home that you're purchasing. I mean, the $500,000 house is not going to go for $430,000. Okay, it just means that now that $500,000 house is maybe your move-up house. Currently, You're looking more around $430,000.
Yeah. Next one's price per square foot, broken out by market segments. The blue line on top is the luxury market, top quarter of the market. And then the bottom 3 quarters, that's basically the Las Vegas real estate market. If we took out the houses in the top quarter, which was Vegas, 5 or 6 years ago, we didn't have as many high-end homes. At least they weren't, affecting the market as much as they are. This is it looks like a totally normal market. Home prices are down maybe a couple percent. They look bad when you add in the more expensive homes that have bigger dollar amounts, right? Mm-hmm. But what's interesting is how fast they're going back up.
Right.
And why is that?
Well, so it's it's the fact that people have stayed out of the market for so long. I mean, people took
pent-up demand.
Yeah, people took 4 months off, maybe longer, and now they're saying, hey, you know what, rates are coming down, or I'd rather use my cash now, or whatever their circumstance is, and they're going out and purchasing properties.
Okay, and this is the last chart. Market segments there on the bottom. Mm-hmm. The most interesting thing about this is the median price of the top market segment, which is that $1.12 million. If you go back and look about 7 or 8 weeks ago when we were doing these videos, that median price of the top of the market was under $1 million. It was like $975,000. And then it went to $1 million. Then it went to like $1,012,000. Then it went to like $1,025,000. Then $1,050,000. Then $1,075,000. Now it's at $1.112,499. It's gone up every week. And you can see the ski slope on the last slide where the median price. Now remember, median price could be because they're just more the mix has changed and more higher end stuff is coming on.
Right.
But this is pretty normal. Forget interest rates. This is pretty normal activity for this time of year. Mm-hmm. This is also normal activity for low inventory.
Right. So I'm gonna give a shout out to the Crash Bros. Can I do that?
Yes, Crash Bros. Okay, we love
Crash
Bros.
So Crash Bros, bring it on. So here's what I want to say to you is, yes, we know that homes have not turned over as quickly as they should have. We understand that in Las Vegas, we're at about 9 years as far as the number of years that people have been in homes. So they are getting ready to turn. A lot of them are. And so we do understand that means that there is a lot of shadow inventory. Okay, we understand that. But we also understand that we have such low inventory levels that the shadow inventory is actually a welcome thing. It's going to give buyers more choices, and we are in an environment where buyers want to buy, so it's going to be good for them. The idea that we're going to have a sufficient amount of shadow inventory coming to market to negatively impact the market short term right now is unlikely. Now, does that mean that if we get a ton of houses come on the market over the next year, that's not going to impact values? Well, it may, but these houses are kind of in some ways factored in. We've done some videos showing you how many people are moving to town, and that pace is pretty sustainable for the next probably 3, maybe 5 years. And so these
I'm going to put that slide up.
Yeah. So these houses that are the shadow inventory, these people who need to turn houses coming on the market, that's great. But also keep in mind that the shadow inventory that's coming on the market is also going to be absorbed by the people selling. because these are people who are also going to be moving up, moving down, whatever it is within the market. So just because we're going to have a whole bunch of houses come on the market doesn't mean that we don't have buyers on the other side. We do. We have a lot of the buyers on the other side are the sellers from over here, okay? And then we also have, of course, everybody moving in, and then we have the current tenants, and we've talked about that we have lots of high-income tenants currently in the Valley that would love the opportunity to purchase a home that they actually like and not settle. So that shadow inventory, Crash Bros, that's coming is a good thing. It's a healthy thing for the market, and at least in the short term, we do not see any negative impact to the market.
Two things really quick in everything you said there. What's the highest? You said there's high-end rentals.
Yes.
What's the highest per month rental you've seen come across your desk?
I saw one for, I think it was $27,000 last week or the week before.
$27,000 a month for rental.
Yes.
Okay. Second thing about the shadow inventory. Are these the bank foreclosures that the banks have been foreclosed on already, that they're just waiting to dump into the market?
No. These are just people who have been in their homes too long and they're ready to move on.
What about all the millions of home builder homes that never sold, that fell out of contract just in Las Vegas? Millions of them that are all the banks are waiting for like a day to dump them all in the market and crash the market. What about those?
Okay, so those are completely self-contained. They have no utilities because we know from NV Energy that we only have about 800,000 electric meters in the Valley.
Oh, okay.
So therefore, all the rest of them are completely off the grid.
Maybe they're on solar and batteries.
Solar, batteries, wells, septic, the whole thing, they are not on the grid.
They have barbed wire around them and
Yes.
everything. Okay, what about the Crash Bros told us last year at this time, you can watch their videos, they're very entertaining, that the inventory would go higher than it did before the great financial crisis, which in Vegas was 26,000 homes on the market. We did, for the entire MSA, market service area, metropolitan statistical area, whatever, we got up to 11 at the peak. But remember, we are 40% larger now than we were back then. So we would have had to get to over 40,000, probably 42,000. We basically only got to a quarter in ratio of what we did the last time. They were off by a factor of 4. Like they said we would get more homes than last time, and they were off by a factor of 4. Like they literally predicted off by a factor of 4. And then home prices have fallen 0 to 5%, and they said 50%. So they're off by over 10.
Right.
So what about that? Like how you gave them a shout out, but how close? I mean, they guessed, right?
Well, and you know what? I respect their guesstimate, and I respect them putting themselves out there. And what is it? A broken clock is right twice a day.
Yeah, they haven't been right yet. I've been watching these videos since 2019 about the crash. There's actually people posting on the comments that they didn't buy a house in 2019 because they thought the market was going to crash. And they literally could have bought a house for 40 or 50% less than today and locked in that sub 3% interest rate. And here they are now, basically probably never ever going to get a house again. Like it's going to be much harder to get a house.
That's okay because they're hanging out in Bitcoin and all kinds of other crypto, and they're doing great, right?
They're pumping Bitcoin now too. I think the Crash Bros. I think Crash Bros are all pumping cryptocurrencies too.
Yes.
Okay.
So anyway, we had some fun doing this video for you.
Yeah.
Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, then please like the video, subscribe, hit notification bell. Please leave us some comments. Remember, if you recognize the Jack Benny 39 comment, leave us a note in the comments. Otherwise, feel free to comment about whatever you'd like in the comments. The only thing we ask is that you be nice to one another. And we'll see you on the next video. Bye.
Bye.